Our next speaker is Dr. Santiago Molina, who is a postdoctoral fellow of sociology and science and human culture. All right, computer. At the Department of Sociology, Weinberg College of Arts and Sciences at Northwestern University. Dr. Molina.
I won't say much about myself, just that I'm a sociologist with training in philosophy of biology and bioethics. And our team is led by Anna Lewis under the direction of Danielle Allen and Ben Neal. We've worked for 2 years with the support of a stellar interdisciplinary working group to explore how the concept of ancestry is and should be defined and used across disciplines. Leading take home of our empirical work is that ancestry and genetic ancestry are really different concepts. And my brief comments will summarize the methodology of our project and will present some of the preliminary findings. So our project has 2 arms. The first is a descriptive side that includes a qualitative literature analysis of 212 papers. We anchor this analysis in a focus on phenotypes that present known health disparities, including COVID, prostate cancer, chronic kidney disease, and schizophrenia, leading to a sample of papers dating back from 2019 to 2021 in February. Additional searches were conducted to obtain sufficient number of papers from anthropology, public health, and sociology, which were screened for papers having to do with health. We then identified a subset of authors from these articles for interviews to shed light on the projects that the papers involved and to ask the authors about their views on ancestry and population descriptors. The second arm is normative and aims to develop guidelines for the use of ancestry and genetic ancestry. So we recently published a policy forum in Science arguing for the scientific and ethical imperative to move away from the use of continental ancestry categories wherever possible. And here we highlight that considering individuals as admixtures of these populations is also part of the problem, not necessarily a solution, because it assumes otherwise pure types that are being mixed. We also have another piece out that reviews 121 previous recommendations to identify themes and historical trends in normative interventions. And this review found pervasive disagreement actually among articles. And so while many of them focus on the inappropriate use of race, none of them fundamentally problematized ancestry. And both of these are found in the briefing booklet for the committee. We have 2 other articles in preparation for dissemination this summer detailing the results of the empirical work. So I'm gonna share some of that with you guys today. So from the literature analysis, we aim to identify the epistemic basis for using ancestry as a dimension of inference in the literature analysis. And we call this their ancestry logic. One salient finding is not just heterogeneity in different ancestry logics, but overall opacity surrounding the use of population descriptors. So for example, 26% of the articles didn't identify any rationale or ancestry logic. We couldn't determine whether the ancestry categories were defined based on self-reported information, geographical information, genetic, or some mixture of those. And about 10% of them used a mixed logic, often as a result of combining multiple data sets. Further analysis to show how population labels were used by researchers show that continental ancestry is most used in biology and medicine. The most used category in public health was race. In anthropology, it was country. And the most used label in sociology was ethnicity. And despite those trends, the main takeaway here is that there's no field of studies dedicated to one particular way of dividing humans into groups. And in fact, there's a great deal of mixture across of them. And from the interviews, we asked researchers what they meant by ancestry, and their answers made it clear that the many ways that ancestry means actually more than just genetic ancestry. So they often differed along 2 main dimensions. What ancestry is a property of? Is it a property of DNA, an individual, family, or population? And B, what shared criteria are appealed to? Is it biology, culture, ethnicity, or history, genealogical connections, or geographical origins? And echoing Professor Oni Ore-san's comments earlier today about the importance of people's lived experience, interviewees frequently drew on personal narratives of various types when thinking about ancestry. And what this really underscores is that while some geneticists might insist that all ancestry is genetic, this is an incredibly biased view. Hence, it's important to distinguish genetic ancestry from ancestry as broadly conceived. Interviewees also explained that in some cases, their label choices were shaped by journal and grant reviewers. When asked about the scale of the category, they explained how the need for greater sample sizes pushed them to lump groups together. And we also asked them about where they would point someone for normative guidance. And most people we interviewed didn't really have a place to look to for any suggestions about sort of something conclusive, which speaks to the importance of the committee's work. Up really quick, and you guys can check this out afterwards.
All right, great. Thank you so much.